So, no, I wouldn't say I have a passion for HR.
Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. It's a human capital revolution. I'm going to be answering Ask HR questions from Reddit because I'm banned, and this is part of a long series of giving HR advice to people who have posted to the Ask HR subreddit. And we have three from New York, and they're actually PIP or Formal Development Plan heavy. In addition, one is about a job offer. So we've got a lot to get into out of New York. Let's get in first to the PIP question. It says, I'm about to be put on a PIP and I'm wanting to apply internally for another position. They had a tough time in their role, and they're, applying for a job that fits their personal interests and their vision. After they applied for the new job, they got put in a PIP for their current role, and they're curious how it'll affect their interview process. Would HR disclose this to my new boss? Are PIPs something commonly gossiped about in the workplace? And is it even worth me trying to get the new internal job, or better for me to cut my losses and look elsewhere? And some of the answer here is particularly surrounding the culture of your company. So HR HR might disclose that to your boss. It depends on how big and how big the organization is. If I were a hiring manager and hiring internally, I would actually reach out to your current manager, and that's where it would probably be disclosed. There is a chance that HR would disclose it, though, if they're connected in that manner. I would say that if they're connected, if it's a small organization or something like that, yeah, absolutely. If it's a larger organization, I really think that your current boss would, reach out. In addition, it's not something that's gossiped about. No one should know about it other than your manager, HR, and yourself. So no, I don't think it'd be something gossiped about. But just HR disclosing it is something that will absolutely make its way to your boss. And the question with respect to, is it even worth me trying to get the new internal job, or better to cut your losses? Well, A, start looking elsewhere, no matter what. But it kind of depends on your organizational culture. Many people would argue that you shouldn't look for an internal job, but there are many conflict avoidant organizations who will move what's considered problem child, like right, problem employees, to other departments just so that they don't have to fire them. And in New York, which does tend to be employee protection heavy, that actually may be the route the company tries to take, and this may be a wonderful this may be wonderful news to your boss, and he may try to pass you off elsewhere. So it's actually not as cut and dry as you might think. The next one is pretty simple out of New York. The person had a job offer, then they had a family emergency, so they rescinded their acceptance, and they told them to let them know, the company told them to let them know if anything changes, and they ended up getting childcare, and the job still posted. And the question is, what should I do? And it's very simple. I mean, the company told them to reach out. It's absolutely, there's no shame. One time I saw a job that I had applied for and actually took another job for, instead, and I didn't like the new job, so I reached out to the old one that gave me an offer, and they actually said they'd consider it, which at my level, to be honest, that's probably not the best idea. I think they ended up turning me down. But it is something that is absolutely out there, and you could reach out to them because they gave you a very clear thing. Now, if it's been a month, ideally they've filled it. But with roles like this, it's potential that it hasn't been filled, or it has been filled and then was reposted because that person left. This one is a little bit unique to company culture, but the next one is from New York again. And it says, my job put me on a FDP. Should I be worried? They're being placed on a formal development plan, and they're actually coming up on the end of it. And the question is this grounds for termination? Now, assuming the formal development plan is less serious than the actual PIP, that's very important to understand. It seems as if it is, right, that it's less serious, that formal development plans are less serious than PIPs. And your manager wanted the formal development plan, but apparently the senior vice president did not. In this situation, I would start looking absolutely. I don't know that you're probably, well, it depends on how successful you are on the formal development plan and whether or not you're meeting whatever goals have been set out for you. But I would say that it is potentially the way of getting you out the door. As to how much time you have, no one could know that. I would imagine that, your next review cycle will be quite bad. I don't think it'll be a positive experience if I had to guess. Uh, and so I would say you need to start looking, but I don't know. No one could tell you, depending on the company culture, how much time you have left at the company. But ultimately, start looking, get ahead of it. It sounds like you're in a high level corporate role, and when you have those type of roles, it takes a while to fill them, and you might definitely get out there. Well, that's it for human resources for the people today. Let me know what you think. Is PIP going to get the first person out, or should they start applying internally? I've seen a lot of people move a lot of problem children instead of firing them. So I think that that's probably possible. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.